The UK's Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, has resigned. She's admitted to not paying enough property tax when she bought an apartment. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, she said she deeply regrets not having taken additional specialist advice and takes full responsibility. An investigation into her affairs found she breached the ministerial code. Well, let's talk now to Alastair Jones, the independent political analyst. Alastair, welcome back. Good to see you. How damaging is all of this for the UK government?
Potentially, it is hugely damaging. It's a matter about how they get control of the narrative. At the moment, they've got one of their most prominent politicians in British politics resigning. Compared to some other actions from previous ministers in previous regimes, this was pretty minor, but there's been an investigation and a resignation. So unless the Labour Party and the Labour government can get hold of the narrative about how they're moving forward, this is going to linger and stay, and they're going to look more and more like the previous government.
How difficult is this for Keir Starmer personally, particularly given what might happen next in terms of an election now for Deputy Leader of the Labour Party and who that candidate might turn out to be?
For him, this is a particularly difficult problem because he's got no way of controlling the election, which from the Labour Party's perspective is hugely important. Ideally, he would like someone sympathetic to his line of argument, his way of taking things forward. But the Labour Party can be, in crude terms, a bloody-minded organisation, and they will vote for the person they think best represents the interests of the grassroots of the party. So he has got no input into that at all. He may or may not endorse candidates. He probably won't, but he could. It's going to be a difficult time. At the same time, he's got a whole reshuffle going on at the moment, and he's trying to reset everything in government to try to, if you like, get hold of the story again as to how they're taking Britain forward.
The Labour government is relatively new to power. It came to office with a thumping majority. How come things have unwound so quickly?
There's a number of reasons. Number one is not having a story to go with what they're trying to do. So they've done a whole host of policies on, for example, net zero, on getting rid of the Rwanda scheme and things like that, which were hugely popular, and they've not told the story that goes with them. Instead, they've got bogged down in tax issues, in minutiae about tax, and in about issues around immigration as a whole, things about which they weren't necessarily fully prepared for, but other parties, in particular Reform UK, have got a clear narrative on what they want to do, and they've been able to dominate the news agenda. So the problem the Labour Party has got, or the Labour government has got, is that they're responding to the narrative from politicians such as Nigel Farage, such as Kemi Badenoch, rather than setting their own story and compelling them to respond to what Labour are trying to do. So this cabinet reshuffle gives Keir Starmer a chance to reset and to start telling the story as to what Labour is doing and how it's going to benefit the whole country.
The truth is, whatever country you talk about around the world at the moment, given the financial circumstances that most economies face, it's easy being in opposition, isn't it? Putting the boot into governments.
Absolutely the case. Putting the boot in describes it perfectly. If someone is down, kick them even harder. And you don't have to have an answer. So what has been interesting is that Nigel Farage, leader of Reform UK in the United States, went there to speak to the US, one of the committees on Congress, and he got slated by one of the persons on that committee as to basically how bad he was, how corrupt he was. But it didn't matter. He came back and he's putting the boot into the government, and he says, well, we'll do all these sorts of other things. They're not costed. They don't have to demonstrate they can do it. It's dead easy to be opposition. You just question what they're going on. You challenge things. You might even be economical with the truth now and again. It doesn't matter because the government has to respond to you. So being opposition in that respect, in particular if you're a small party, can be very easy just to get, if you like, column inches in the newspaper or media time on air.
Alastair, our time on air has run out. Good to see you. Alastair Jones, the independent political analyst.